Good day, my friends. Today we're going to talk about Model T frame to go with various Model T kits that we have out there. It's called IRS. It stands for Independent Rear Suspension. Going into the kit itself, I've taken out a lot of the packing that Josh puts in these. This is by VCG Resins.com. Links in the description. It's been designed by Scale Speed Garage, and which is also linked on Josh's site. And we have a frame to replace the frame in your Model T, and we have all the little knick-knacky parts that go along with it, and it includes the front suspension, which you don't have to scramble around to get one to make it work. In this case, I'm going to be working on the 34 pickup AMT. Picked this up at Hobby Lobby, 40% off, cost me 18 bucks. And this is not going to be stock. I managed to pick up a kit, or a part of one of VCG's Ford Shelby Big Block Cobra engine, and it has through the fender exhaust other than just straight headers. I'm going to put on it a full-on blower supercharger like what they put on drag racers, and I got a set of Weld Magnum wheels and drag tires to go on it, barely street legal. And I've chopped about 4 inches out of the roof. I need to go through. I'm letting the glue dry. I need to go through with filler and do all that and sand it and make it all nice and pretty and even, but that's, going to be a little while. And this is, of course, resin. And on VCG, Josh also offers various types of super glue, various kinds. And check out the site. But in this case, we are going to look at this in order to do it. It is a little complex. It is not really for beginners because of all the little parts. Having some knowledge about how to work with resin is a great help. And putting all this together, Josh has included an extra shock absorber for the rear, also an extra piece for mounting the axle, the center axle part, differential, that's the word I'm looking for. We've got some brakes that go in line, and everything comes with a drive shaft with an opening to fit your own universal to fit in there to hook up to your motor. And of course, Josh sells a whole bunch of them too. Instructions are online on the site and tells you how to best put that together. I did this once before on another kit, and I found that it works better if you paint it before you put it together rather than trying to get in and do it after, because some of the parts get kind of tight, and you really want to do something like paint the brakes before you mount them up, because trying to get in there and paint them after it's tough. I found that out the hard way. So I'm going to start working on this and see what I can accomplish and get it put together and painted and mounted up, and I'll put in little bits and parts and we'll see what the finished product looks like. Okay, I spent the last while out here working on getting things painted up. This is the frame again. Got the front axle put in place, makes it easier to paint. I've got the rear differential, the mount put in place. Again, make it easier to paint. I took all my little knick-knacky doodads. Drive shaft, got a couple of little drive shaft pieces, U-joint ends. These come from the differential to the outer wheels. Got my brakes. They're actually inboard right next to the differential when they get mounted. Painted them with Revell aluminum and then touched it up with Tamiya clear blue over the top of the aluminum. Gives it something of an anodized look. Thought that looks pretty cool. Whole thing's going to be blue. Did the same thing with the front shock absorbers. The rear shock absorbers are kind of cool. He managed to get them printed, 3D printed in such a way that it's actually a little springy, not up and down but side to side. But that's the rear spring. And we've got, of course, the cross members and the various other little bits. Then we start putting them together, and that's where the fun begins, because the way you need to do it. First, they recommend that you don't glue everything together and actually glue all this back in when you get done, you know, with the putting this in. But you go through and just start putting it together. Like I said, there's instructions online, and so now we start. Oh, these are the wheel inserts. Now we start gluing things together. Okay, I just had to pause a minute and actually look online to see how this goes together. So yeah, as I said, there are instructions online that tells you how all this works. You need to be sure get these are keyed in such a way, so you need to kind of figure out just which way, and then test fit to make sure that you didn't get too much paint in the hole like I did, so it doesn't fit, because it's kind of a snug fit. Get some of that out. Because you want the brake pad and the brake system out, because there's actually a couple of little doohickeys there that quote unquote hold the brake system in place. Basically the mounts for it. A little shout out here. Super glue. VCG Resins, Josh has got several different types marketed with his logo on the front. Kind of cool. It's like $4 or $5 for a solid half ounce, as opposed to like $2 or $3 for a little bitty T9C tube. And so it a fair bit more for your buck, and it's pretty good stuff. I'm just using the Maxi Cure. Takes a minute or so for it to actually cure, as opposed to the Insta set that he also sells. So you want this more or less where the U-joint is vertical. Go to the other side. Make sure that it fits before you put the glue on it, stupid. Yeah, you got her. Good old cyanoacrylate. A must-have when you're working with resins, I have discovered. Get that in place. This glue sets quickly, but not instantly. Gives you a few seconds to do what you need to. You take these are your little arms. Just set them in place. You don't want to glue them yet because you want to be able to make sure that everything is aligned so you don't wind up with the whole thing inked up. And then you take the ends, set them in place. Again, don't glue them. Kind of set them off to the side a little bit so that they're out of the way. There we go. You got these little guys. Take a bit of glue and you're going to glue it in place there. There we go. Don't glue your finger to it. Before all of this sets, get all three of these joints. Make sure you know where you're going with it before you start putting glue, because you need to do all three of these rather quickly. You get it right, you wind up with them backwards. That one goes on this end, which is why you don't glue it. You have a right side and a left side, and I had the wrong side. Set that back in place. There we go. You have a spot here for the shock. And if you don't have them in the right spot, you done goofed up. And if you goof up too much, you're going to wind up getting it thoroughly screwed up. Drive shaft. Glue on that end, glue on that end. Oops. Set that in place. Move that in place. Like so. Then we need to do, before we glue those, to put the shock absorbers in place. If we do them with the, well, let's check our paperwork, see which way they have them. Okay, solid end down. Got a little pin and a little pin. Bit of glue. About like that. We come under here and we're going to dabble a bit of glue on any one of these just to make sure that it all settles in place. We'll go back later and touch up the paint because I missed a few spots, but there's that. Don't let that sit down now on your working space, because then you'll wind up with a big mess. So now we're going to go, I've already checked these and they're all real nice. They fit in real nice. A little bit here, a little bit on the bottom. It's got a tab. Make sure we have the right one. Glue, bit of, come on, no, there we go, get some in there, and a little bit, well, not careful, you're going to glue your finger to it, there and there, get it nice and straight, get it nice and straight, he says sarcastically. And there you go. I have not put the drive shaft in place yet. I'll do that when I make the motor. But it fits. There's a little spot in the, down here in the bottom in the differential that this just fits right in, and it comes out here, and where you mount up. You may have to trim that. You may have to extend it. So I don't want to do that until I get the motor in place, and I'll be able to see just what I need to do with it. But this is not, it looks really complicated. Study the instructions, print them out if you need to. And this looks a whole lot neater, a whole lot cooler than the standard rear ends that you can get, and the frame and everything, and that you can get with the kits. And it'll really look cool underneath your Model T, Model A, hot rod, old Ford hot rod. Probably even go into the 1937 Ford pickup that might even fit under that. I don't know. Said, and I realized in the going through editing that I didn't really get that good a look at this, and got it all nice and done up. And like I said, it's not that complicated to put together. It took what, 15 minutes to completely assemble it after I got everything painted, but to get all of this part here put together took less than 15 minutes. And so, but it does. It looks sharp. The front looks sharp, and it'll look really good underneath your hot rod. So, I'll get to work on getting things trimmed up, taken care of, motored up, get things put together, and I'll update as I go along. And till next time, my friends, thanks for watching.